Okay, let's do the next part of the house. We're gonna add some windows. I just wanted to show you what I started on my house here. I ended up just designing some of my own windows. Let's see if we can zoom in here. I went through them pretty quick, so I just kind of did like a black frame around, and then I did a white pane through it. And so I have one here and here, and I ended up just resizing them. So it's definitely quicker, but it does, when I stretch this window out, I've lost kind of the proportion of the black frame around. But I think given the time constraints we're on, that's fine going faster. But then thinking about it, I thought there might actually be an even easier way to do windows that I wanted to show you. So I'm going to go back to the house I've been making on the videos. Okay, so here's the basic premise. We're going to cut holes out. We're going to use rectangular windows, so we're going to use the box tool to do that. I think it probably makes sense to cut all the holes at once, and then we'll pull windows in and duplicate them as needed and put those into the hole. So I'm going to grab a box and I'm going to shape this correctly. I'm going to bring it over to this side. All right, since it's going to go over there. Okay, so let's maybe a little bit bigger than 10. Okay, we'll do 13. And then that actually kind of fits in there pretty nicely. So it's going to be helpful if you can remember the dimensions. If not, you might want to write them down. So this is a where are the dimensions that matter? Okay, so it's essentially 13 units tall and right now 20 units wide. Okay, and then we're going to bring that up just a little bit. And now I just need to have that intersect. So I'm going to pull that back in so it passes through the house, because we're going to create a hole out of this. Get that set up correctly. And then I'm going to duplicate that. So I'm going to put two windows here. All right, and so the second one, I'm just going to pull up on top of it. Again, let's do a 2D front view. And you might need to change from perspective view to the orthographic view so you can kind of see it in that 2-dimension, make sure things line up. Like I really like, I'm just eyeballing this up. That window looks like it's just a little bit too tall, so we'll bring it down just a little bit. Okay, and again, I'm not doing precise measurements here, a lot of eyeballing up just to save time. All right, so let's change that to a hole. We'll change this one to a hole. And we'll group. There we go. Now we have some holes to put windows in. Okay, so what I showed you before is I made my own windows, but then I realized there are some shapes in here that you can use. So if you here where it says basic shapes, you can change your shapes library, go to structures and scenery. Second one over is buildings. And you kind of need to scroll through. There's more shapes. So you'll see there's doors there. Heck, there's even like here's a greenhouse. What is this? Whole skyscraper. So then there are some windows here. I guess you could search for that as well. But this is a pretty straightforward window. It's not exactly the window I want, but given my time constraint, I'm going to go ahead and just use that instead of creating my own windows. So I pull that in, obviously way too big, but that's perfect. So we're now going to resize it. So this is where remembering our dimensions is helpful. So we want this to be 20 units across. So not 74, but 20. And then not 62, but 13 units tall. And the other thing is because I wanted to actually fit in, we had previously done our walls a millimeter thick. Okay, so let's see if I can. So right here where it's 5.1, I'm going to change that to 1. Okay, and now I just need to get that posted in there. Maybe I'll go to the front view. So I am going to have to raise that up. All right, it looks pretty good there. I'm also going to try, maybe I can do this with the alignment tool. Yeah, actually, I think the alignment tool is going to be pretty tricky since this is grouped. So I want it to be aligned with this, but I don't have a marking for that. So I think I am just going to have to use the mouse here to drag that into place. All right, and so I'm kind of using this front view to line it up. And then the corner view to make sure it is in line. I can also look at the left, looking for, make sure nothing is sort of sticking out there. All right, that one's in there. What I can do then is duplicate that window. So I'll get the same shape and then I can just drag that right up since that other hole is right on top of it. Put it right there. Okay, so that's 2 windows. If I want to add more windows, you know, I just do the same process, cut the holes out. If I'm doing holes of the same size, I would do those at the same time because then I can just duplicate that shape. And then when I bring a window in, if it's the same size, I can duplicate it and just move it to where I need it to be. All right, that's it.